Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Spartacus boxing sparring gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Spartacus boxing sparring gloves. I got mine in the red and white colorway. 14 ounces. It is a lace-up only model. You can get it in 14 or 16 ounces. With a total of 5 colors to choose from. It's made of genuine cowhide leather on the exterior of the glove, with a polyester satin liner on the inside of the hand compartment, and 3 layers of foam padding over the knuckles that's medium in firmness and about 3 inches in total thickness. And the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Now, from a design standpoint, I think they did a really good job of keeping the glove looking clean. You do have a Spartacus boxing logo on the back of the glove, as well as that same logo written vertically on the inside thumb side of the wrist support right there. So you just have that logo there, as well as on the back side. You do have that contrasting piping in white where the laces are at, as well as at the base of the thumb. Compared to other 14-ounce gloves, I'd say that these are more on the medium to compact side profile. So if you're somebody that prefers more of a compact fit, I think that these are the type of gloves you would enjoy. If there was a glove I could compare it to that I've used previously that I would say that these are similar to, I would probably say maybe like the Leok Heroes or even the MK1 Selects in terms of profile and shape of the glove, especially like kind of the thumb compartment and the overall hand compartment. Now, that's not to say that these are exactly like those other gloves, but this is what these gloves kind of remind me of. So again, I like to usually use that as kind of like a benchmark or a comparison point for those of you that watch that maybe have a pair of those other gloves, so that you guys can kind of use that as something to go off of when you're looking at getting these Spartacus boxing gloves, or if you're looking at purchasing these. So a very clean looking glove. The leather on here has kind of a semi-gloss finish to it. It's definitely a little bit more on the shiny side with a smoother texture. Again, you can see that Spartacus logo. You do have a flat cuff, or should I say a flat wrist support on the back of the wrist with no logos or patches there. This is advertised as a sparring glove, so in terms of a sparring glove, I do like the fact that you don't have any type of plastic or even cloth patches, nothing really on the glove that has any type of edges to where you can damage your sparring partner or cut them or create any kind of damage on their skin. So that's a really nice thing in the fact that it's essentially a very soft glove on the exterior of the glove. The back of the wrist support, you're looking at about 1 inch of, I'd say, about medium density foam padding. You also notice it does have the 14-ounce weight tag that's stitched into the bottom cuff right there. You do have the white piping, polyester satin liner in black. Rotating to the palm side, you're looking at about 3/4 of an inch of that same medium density foam padding on the inside of the wrist, double stitching throughout, Spartacus logo right there, white piping at the base of the thumb, also ventilated holes on the top and the bottom of the grip bar, as well as on the inside portion of the thumb. So you do have that. You do have a leather attached thumb, as well as a grip bar that is actually pretty large and has a good amount of firmness to it. Could be a little bit more firm, but the grip bar size is really good. So I feel like they did a really good job in terms of the grip bar size. But you can see, again, a very clean looking glove. And they do have these in 5 different colors. So I do like the variety in colorways. I think they have like a gray, a blue. I think they even have kind of like a brown, vintage brown colorway. So that really looks sharp. But overall, a very clean design glove. Looks really good. And kind of gives me a little bit more, you know, with the shape of the glove and the padding they use, kind of a little bit more of like an old school feel, like a softer kind of glove, if that makes sense. So overall, very nicely designed. Now, in terms of glove quality, we'll start off with weight. The left glove came in at 13.7 ounces. The right was at 13.9, which is really good to see. They're not exactly on point, just a hair underweight. but not large enough. It's not very noticeable when you're wearing the glove. So that's good to see that the glove weight's on point. The leather quality on here is very similar to a lot of other Pakistan-made leather goods. You know, there's nothing here that really jumps out to me in terms of being more premium than others. Kind of similar to what you would see from like Top Boxer, Phenom, and some of the other Pakistan-made brands. The leather on here is very thick, has a very nice supple and smooth feel to it. So leather is pretty solid overall. Stitching is done very nicely, so you guys can see it for yourself. No red flags, nothing that stands out as a big issue with the stitching where the thumb meets the index finger. Everything's done really clean. No issues with the leather. You can see it has some natural wrinkling to it on that thumb. Here's the palm side that you guys can see for yourself. Things done real clean all throughout. Inside liner's nice as well. No issues there. No exposed foam, no rips or tears. So it looks really good. That's the left glove, the right glove as well. Try to show you guys up close, that way you guys can see for yourself before making your decision, or not. But there you go. There's the edges. And try to capture any of the areas that are sometimes problem areas for certain glove brands and makes and models, however you want to call it. The laces on here are definitely long. You can see it's very long, so you get to wrap these laces around your wrist and really lock in and cinch in your wrist nicely. You know, to me, I'd rather have too long of laces than too short. You guys know and ever experienced gloves that have short laces, it's just a pain in the ass. It's not even worth it. You end up just removing the laces completely and putting your own set of laces in, because if they're too short, you just can't tighten your wrist up the way you want to. Plastic tips at the end, and these are flat laces right there. Kind of, I always call these the thick cut fries, like French fries. If you like French fries like I do, they have like the thinner ones, like McDonald's fries or even Burger King, and then you have some of the other fancier fries where there's thick cut fries, but that's kind of my weird analogy with that. But these are the thicker laces. But yeah, overall the quality is done really nicely with this glove. I say the gloves are a little bit on the top heavy side, so it does have a decent amount of wrist support right there, but this is definitely a much more front loaded glove. Again, intended for sparring, so in terms of the padding, it's definitely on the thicker, more plus side for the padding, which makes it a perfect type of sparring glove for both yourself and your sparring partner, which we'll discuss in more detail. But overall, quality is definitely very nice with these gloves overall. Nothing on these gloves that really stand out as a big issue. If I guess I were to nitpick and say the biggest issue would probably be it being a little bit underweight, but outside of that, done very nicely. All right, let's go ahead and talk about comfort. So slide my hand into the gloves. Liner feels good. Kind of a standard satin liner on the inside, very smooth, and there is no excess material. So sometimes the issue you have with these polyester satin liners is that you oftentimes start getting into this area of the hand compartment, and that's where you get a lot of that excess material that kind of bunches up around the fingertip and around the knuckles. And in this case, you don't have that issue. You can definitely feel the liner, but they did a pretty good job of kind of like flattening it out and making sure there's not a lot of excess material. Thumb feels great. So the base of the thumb is accommodating enough for your thumb to slip in there. It doesn't feel tight, even with hand wraps on. The thumb position is great as well, nice and parallel, and it does have a nice pre-curved fist. So when I pull down to make a fist, you can see there's not much room for my fingers to go down just because it's really deep as it is. But you don't have any issues with the thumb attachment pulling down on the tip to where your thumb will jam on the inside portion of the thumb compartment. Wrist support feels really good once cinched up. Again, I feel like this is a little bit more of a slim fitting glove for a 14-ounce glove. And the finger compartment on here is very deep. So it really puts your hand in that position to where you're landing with your two front knuckles. So I like the fact that it does have a really nice deep finger compartment, and it's not too wide or too narrow. You do have a secondary grip bar neoprene that's covered in that satin liner on the inside of the finger compartment right here. So you have your main grip bar and you have your secondary grip bar right here on the inside. Obviously you guys can't see it in the video, but it's there. I feel like it's maybe about a half an inch maybe of neoprene right there on the finger compartment, but very comfortable in terms of the width, not too wide, not too narrow. I'd say that the gloves are mildly broken in, so maybe like 50% broken in. It's going to definitely take some time to soften up this foam to really where you can really open and close your hands to parry and catch shots. So it does take a little bit of a break-in period with these gloves, but overall there's nothing with this glove that gives me any kind of hand pain, cut off the blood circulation in my fingers, or causes any type of discomfort throughout this entire glove. So very comfortable. Protection and performance wise, these are definitely more of a protective plush style glove, definitely geared more towards sparring. The padding on here is definitely thicker, so when you push down on it, it has a medium firmness to it. This is the type of padding that's perfect for sparring, because when you're landing this on your sparring partner's face, you know, obviously any kind of punch is going to do damage no matter what type of padding you're using, but certain types of padding are definitely more forgiving than others. It's not rock solid, nor is it like horsehair to where your knuckles are, you're basically punching your opponent with bare hands basically, where it's too soft. So this is a perfect blend in my opinion for a sparring glove, because one, it protects your hand itself because there's a thick layer of foam over the front portion of your hand. The hand ergonomics are where it needs to be at, so the position of your hand is where it needs to be inside the glove. But this foam padding, when it lands on your face, it does a good job of kind of, I guess you can say, taking the brunt of the force off of the punch and allowing the foam to kind of compress nicely, both for your hand and for your sparring partner, to where you're not getting a lot of, I guess you can say, inertia. I'm trying not to get too much into science, not my best course, or should I say, when it came to school, but you know, I think the transfer of power when you're getting punched with this is kind of reduced because of this padding, the type of padding they use on here, and it compresses down nicely to where it takes a little bit of the steam off the punch when you're on the receiving end of these gloves. So to me, that's where this glove really shines, is sparring. You can use it for definitely use it for bag work and for all your training. Definitely more on the protective end. You get a good amount of feedback as well with this glove, but you're not going to get the same level as a puncher style glove. So if you're expecting it to be more softer, to where you can really feel your punches connect, like a horsehair glove or like a polyurethane latex softer type of glove, then you're not going to get that with this, but you're definitely going to get more protection, and it's going to be more of a softer, I guess you could say, of a more plush, thick feeling glove for your sparring partner when you're landing your punches on them. So to me, it's a little bit more on the protective end when it comes to the performance of this glove. Cost-wise, these gloves are $165, which I think is definitely a fair asking price for these gloves. You have the color variety you can choose from, 6 different colorways. You can get them in 14 or 16 ounces. They are only lace up, so you know, if you're looking at getting a Velcro version, unfortunately they do not make this particular model in Velcro, but again, for a sparring glove, you want to go with lace up anyways. I would say that would be nice to offer like an 18 ounce size for those of you that are larger, heavyweights that maybe have bigger hands, longer fingers, to accommodate those people that are larger. But outside of that, I think they did a really good job with this glove. Looks really sharp, good variety of colors. You have that lace up closure, very snug fit, and solid overall quality. So very satisfied with these gloves. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box so you can find these Spartacus boxing sparring gloves. See you guys later. Peace.